Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, your number one source for income-oriented investing, how to generate passive income from a diversified portfolio of high-yield funds. And in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. So I'm not going to tell you that I'm bullish on it or that I love Bitcoin, that I believe in it and all, etc., etc., etc. I am at heart a very pessimistic investor. I only invest if something pays me every month, right? So in today's video, we're going to take a look at some of the Bitcoin ETFs on the US and Canadian market where you could easily get access to Bitcoin if you're interested in it, because recently BlackRock has filed to create a Bitcoin ETF, the first ever Bitcoin ETF that actually holds Bitcoin. There are a couple of Bitcoin ETFs right now in the American market, but they could only track the price of Bitcoin. They can't actually hold Bitcoin. So will BlackRock be the very first company to actually create this ETF successfully, because many have failed? And by the way, if you're interested in learning more about this, I'll put an article in the video description. But what I really want to talk about in this video is, what if you want to get access to Bitcoin, you want to invest in Bitcoin for either growth, but more importantly and more associated with this channel and my style, for income? Is there a way of investing in Bitcoin but getting consistent high monthly income as well? The answer is yes, not only on the Canadian market, which I've covered before, but there's also an option on the US market. That's right. For you Americans, or for you who invest on the US market, there is an ETF where you could get about 10% yield while investing in Bitcoin. So we'll check out these ETFs together right now. So let's start on the US market. The biggest one by far right now, if you just want access to Bitcoin, you want basically growth or total return, it's from ProShares. The stock symbol is BITO or BITO, I guess. And it's the Bitcoin Strategy ETF. This ETF doesn't actually hold Bitcoin, just like it says at the banner at the top. It invests in Bitcoin futures. So the way I like to think of it, this is just my personal opinion, it might not be technically correct. You're not investing in Bitcoin itself. You're investing in the price movement of Bitcoin, I think is the best way to say it, not in physical Bitcoin. That BlackRock ETF that maybe is coming, if it gets approved by the SEC, is going to be physical Bitcoin, I believe. But right now, there is none on the US market. So you have to contend with something like a BITO. So you're investing in basically the price of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up, this ETF will go up. Bitcoin goes down, this ETF will go down. So it's the biggest one on the US market by far. It's not designed for income. It's really designed for total return. But what's very interesting, and you could see the holdings here, it just says, you'll just see like Bitcoin futures. So you're just getting access to the price of Bitcoin. But what's interesting is that there have been some monthly distributions lately, which is very interesting on this ETF. But this is not really an income-oriented ETF. And if you click on frequently asked questions, they'll actually explain why they're giving out distributions. I believe it has to do with ETFs need to pay out the capital gains by the end of the year. So they're kind of estimating it and they're distributing some income right now, but you can't expect distributions all the time. So I would say this is going to be your growth or total return style ETF that's available right now. Maybe when the BlackRock comes out, if it does get approved, you'll have another one. That's probably going to be the biggest one by far. But right now, it's this one here at ProShares. Yes, there is some monthly income right now, but you can't expect it. So I would say this is your primary growth or total return ETF on the US market. I would just drip this as well. By the way, if you just want the growth, if you just believe in Bitcoin is going to go up. There is another one from Van Eck, XBTF, the Van Eck Bitcoin Strategy ETF. A little bit lower management fee or expense ratio at 76 basis points. This one here, if I remember correctly, was at something like at 95. So I looked at the total returns. They're pretty much neck and neck. They're about the same. So these are the two ETFs you should consider if you want growth or total return. But what if you want income? This is the one I'm especially excited to talk to you about. It's MAXI from Simplify ETF. So like the name says, check out the name, Simplified Bitcoin Strategy plus Income ETF. So this one, again, on the US side, they cannot hold physical Bitcoin. So again, they don't invest in Bitcoin directly like it says here, but in Bitcoin futures. But it pretty much captures whatever the Bitcoin price does. But here's the key. On top of that, They capital gains and income here by providing investors with exposure to Bitcoin while simultaneously generating income by selling short-dated put or call spreads on the most liquid global equity indices. So put or call spreads, everyone, is just a very easy, common way to generate income. What kind of income are we talking about here? Well, as of end of May, it's a bit lower now because Bitcoin went up, 11% yield. Management fees just slightly higher than the ProShares one, 97 basis points here. But if you look at the distribution history, and this is pretty much a common theme with simplified ETFs, it looks like recently they've been trying to smooth out their monthly distributions. You see quite a few months here, 5 months in a row at 15 cents a month, which translates into a really nice yield of about 10% or something like that. Let's just do it, 0.15, that's monthly. So you have to do times 12 for the annual, $1.80 divided by the current price, let's say on the website here of 1869. Of course, you just divide it by the price you're buying it to know your yield times 100, and you have a yield of just under 10% right now. That's because Bitcoin went up. Remember, the yield is going to be lower if the stock price goes up, right? So a very, very nice yield. And this is basically, this line says it all. What is this fund designed for? Is it Bitcoin or is it income? Well, it's actually both. It's designed to be a capital efficient way to simultaneously invest in Bitcoin, generate income. And here's the key. The fund can be viewed as Bitcoin exposure with a downside buffer by virtue of the padding the income may create and to any Bitcoin drawdown. So that monthly income that they're generating is basically a cushion, where it's kind of like a bit of a protection, kind of like a covered call strategy. So if you're American, you're investing on the US market, you want to get into Bitcoin, but you're a bit pessimistic, you like income, MAXI is the one I would recommend, is the one I am currently investing in as well right now. Now let's check out the Canadian side, the Canadian market. On the Canadian market, Purpose is the main player. So on the Canadian side, it was actually approved that you could have an ETF that actually holds physical Bitcoin. So the biggest one by far is going to be the one from Purpose. The stock symbol is BTCC. So this one just holds Bitcoin. It's actually almost at $1 billion in AUM here. Management fee is 1%. So this is just, there's no income here. It's just pure. If you want to own Bitcoin, you think Bitcoin is going to go up, you're a growth or total return investor who believes in it, BTCC is going to be an option. And by the way, they have the exact same thing for Ether, just in case. Just want to let you know that as well. The stock symbol is ETHH. ETHH for Ether. Is it ETHH? Yeah, it is. ETHH. Keep in mind they have currency hedged, non-currency hedged, and US versions as well. When I say US version, not on the American stock market, still on the Canadian stock market, but in USD. So there's ETHH, ETHH.B for non-hedge, non-currency hedge, and then you have ETHH.U if for some reason you have US dollars and you want USD currency. And the same thing goes for BTCC, by the way. BTCC is just a regular currency hedge. By the way, when something is currency hedge, it means the fluctuation between the Canadian dollar and the US dollar will not have an impact on the actual ETF itself. But if you take the non-hedged version, BTCC or ETHH.B, if the US dollar starts getting stronger versus the Canadian dollar, it actually gives you more gain. So if you firmly believe, if you really love the American dollar, you think that's going to get stronger versus the Canadian one, you would probably go with the non-hedged. But if you just don't want anything to do with the currencies impacting your fund, you're going to go with the currency hedged version. And when it comes to income, of course, this channel is all about income, so we got to spend some time here. You have still from Purpose, and I've had them on the channel many times to discuss this. I've had several videos of the fund manager of these ETFs. It's BTCY, and again, they have a currency hedge, non-currency hedge, and USD currency version of them. So it's the Purpose Bitcoin Yield ETF. And what they do is they simply write covered calls on their own Bitcoin ETF. So BTCY is literally BTCC with covered calls, which is currently translating into great yields of over 11%, almost 12% for Bitcoin. And by the way, they have the exact same thing for Ether with ETHY. You see here it's 12%. Keep in mind, guys, this is covered calls, so the monthly distributions can vary. But if you're an income investor like me, and by the way, this is what I own, BTCY and ETHY, I own both of them. and you like covered calls, you want income, you're a little bit more pessimistic about Bitcoin or Ether, you want to own it, but you're like, man, I don't know what it's going to do. I'd rather give up some upside for high income. Well, you're better off with the covered call versions instead of the growth versions, instead of the BTCC. So, you could see the monthly distributions. They will vary. They have varied. Here they are recently. So the latest one has been 4 cents a month, but you see like 4 months ago, it was 2 cents. Then at the beginning, it was actually much higher at 7 cents. So remember that covered call income, guys, can vary based on the volatility of the asset. So you got to expect varying distributions, but because crypto is very volatile, you could expect fairly high distributions. And if you go to the portfolio breakdown, you could actually see the percentage that's covered with covered calls. So right now it's 37% on the Bitcoin. So, typically purpose, they don't write over 50%. So only you're going to capture for sure 50% of what Bitcoin does, or the upside of Bitcoin. Same thing for the Ether, by the way, same concept. But you're generating yield at the same time, which cushions your downside in case, Bitcoin takes a tumble. So again, BTCY, ETHY are the income covered call versions of BTCC and ETHH. So that's it when it comes to both the US and Canadian market. Again, I have a lot of videos, quite a few videos where I talk to the fund manager of BTCY. I talked to Purpose about it, and I even had a Ether expert on the channel as well, in case you're curious about Ether, to check them out. So there you go, MAXI on the US market to get income off Bitcoin, and BTCY on the Canadian market to get income off Bitcoin on the Canadian market. There you have it. Hey, don't go yet. A few reminders before you leave. Did you know that I launched a YouTube loyalty membership program where for only $3 a month, you could become a PII Inner Circle member, where you will gain access to exclusive content, exclusive videos and live streams, as well as other perks and benefits, including a really cool weekly opportunity report. That's right. If you're interested, just click on the little join button next to the subscribe button to see what it's all about. Also, make sure to follow me on Blossom and download Blossom. It's a social investing app, which is really cool. You could share your portfolio, follow other people's portfolios, including my own. My username is Adrian_PII. So download it with the referral link below. Not only is it free, but you could actually earn cash by taking these really small, quick 1-minute courses. Really awesome. It's a no-brainer. Also, make sure to visit our website, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. That's where you could book a one-on-one private coaching session with yours truly, with myself, where you could ask me all the questions you want. All the information and booking information is on the website. Make sure to check out that video on the homepage there to see how to book a one-on-one properly. Also on my website, you could purchase my digital product, which I'm very proud of, the ultimate DIY investing package. This is a reference tool or a companion tool that will help you build your own portfolio. So it has lists of funds, it has sample portfolios, and it covers both the Canadian and US stock markets. And the good news is you'll only ever have to buy it once, because it comes with free lifetime updates. And my plan is really to update the version every single year. So make sure to pick it up. Also, I have Questrade and PASSIV referral links below. So Questrade is the broker that I personally use, and PASSIV is the broker companion tool or assistant that I use. Really cool program, really cool software. So I have referral links for both of those. Questrade, $50 of free trades, and PASSIV, I have half off for the elite membership. If you're interested in the elite membership, and even if you want to start out with the free membership and upgrade to the elite afterwards, use my referral code so you could still get that 50% off. And don't forget that the elite membership of PASSIV is 100% free if you use Questrade. For social media, we have a very successful and big Facebook group, private Facebook group with over 14,000 members, where we all try to help each other out. So make sure to join that group. Information is below. We also have Instagram, where you could follow us, or more personal stuff when it comes to our life here in Panama. And there's LinkedIn as well. So as usual, everyone, how do I leave you? Continue to stay safe, stay healthy, and of course, stay passive. See you next time.